Good evening, I'm Sarah Lucero.
And I'm Jeff Brady. Next at 6, terror on campus. Are schools prepared for the worst?
And all of us online are busy, and this is ridiculous because I don't think our building's locked. I'm really scared.
The calls from students and faculty last fall bring into question how campus police responded. Plus,
the number of people being tested for the Zika virus has nearly quadrupled in Bexar County. I'm Anisha Roy, and coming up next, what health officials are now trying to do to get test results more quickly.
Who is the best person to stop Hillary Clinton from ever getting inside the White House again? This is the best person to do that.
A major endorsement in Texas today. Once GOP rivals Donald Trump and Chris Christie join forces ahead of Super Tuesday. But first,
KENS 5 Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
good evening, I'm Sarah Lucero.
and I'm Jeff Brady. Next at 6, through hell and back.
A woman is held captive for months by a former Texas death row inmate.
Then she starts telling us exactly what's been going on for the last several months about being drugged, chained down, and being assaulted.
Coming up, why his crime went unpunished almost 30 years ago. Plus,
It was supposed to be the solution to I-35's traffic problems, but less than 4 years after it opened, State Highway 130 is broke. What's next for the toll road? Coming up, but first.
My 12-year-old woke up, and she had to witness 2 guns being pointed to her mother's face.
Alone and at gunpoint, a woman manages to send 2 carjackers running. Now the sheriff's office says her act of defiance may have helped lead them to an organized crime group.
it happened last month in the 3600 block of Candle Glen on the far east side. Justin Bork has more.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Brady.
I'm Sarah Lucero. Next at 6, storms sweep through Texas. Now the cleanup begins.
It does kind of grip you for somebody who's never really experienced how strong Mother Nature can be.
We'll take you live to the border where thousands are still without power. Plus,
It's one of the most coveted jobs in San Antonio. I'm Sharon Coe. Coming up tonight, what it takes to become a firefighter.
And no car, no problem. We'll tell you about a new program Uber is rolling out in San Antonio to hire more drivers on the road. But first,
we begin with breaking news. Downtown, one person has been killed. 2 others are critically injured in a shooting on the east side.
the 2 people rushed to the hospital were found in the heart of downtown, but the shooting actually started in the 300 block of Belmont. That's on the east side, and that's where Audrey Castellano is now. So, Audrey, what can you tell us? Good evening, I'm Jeff Brady.
I'm Sarah Lucero. Next at 6, corruption, riots, and now drugs. The latest charge for an embattled South Texas mayor.
I don't think I did anything wrong.
We're live in Crystal City as the city council decides what's next for Ricardo Lopez. Plus,
a week from today will be 2 months since the son of Henry Gutierrez drove through that gate and up the road to his father's house, only to find him inside, murdered from multiple gunshot wounds. The killer is still out there. The Gutierrez family breaks their silence tonight.
And will he stay or will he go? The Spurs' rising front office star offered a big-time promotion. Joe will join the conversation coming up, but first.
biggest political day of the year so far, Super Tuesday.
Ted Cruz counting on his home state to carry him to victory and jumpstart his campaign.
Any candidate who cannot win his home state has real problems.
155 delegates up for grabs, by far the biggest prize of the day.
We'll take you to Houston, where the Texas senator will be watching his vote tally throughout the night. Plus,
I'm Justin Bork. Frustration at the polls. Find out why long lines for voters may mean an historic day for Bexar County. Plus,
I'm Alicia Neaves. Today, San Antonio became the 3rd city in Texas to offer free rides to the polls on Election Day. So we hopped on a bus to see how many are taking advantage of this new initiative. That in a moment, but first.
we begin with a live look at the San Antonio Housing Authority's downtown office, one of 284 polling sites across Bexar County, all of them closing in just about an hour. There's still a few dozen people in line at this location. We're told as long as you're in line before 7 p.m., you will be able to cast your votes.
And we'll get back out to the polls in just a few minutes. But first,
KENS 5 Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Lucero.
And I'm Jeff Brady. Next at 6, a Texas-sized build-up to Super Tuesday.
We'll take you across San Antonio as candidates make their final pitch to voters with only hours to spare.
I'm Anusha Roy. Following the Ted Cruz campaign, the presidential candidate counting on a home field advantage to keep him in the race. The new attack he's launching against Donald Trump coming up.
I'm Alicia Nieves with Ted Cruz supporters. Some traveled 100 miles to see him speak this afternoon. Why they're voting for the Texas senator, just ahead.
Former President Bill Clinton returns to the Alamo City to campaign for his wife in a final push to get voters to the polls. We'll have highlights of his speech, but first.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Lucero.
And I'm Jeff Brady. Next at 6, the road to Texas. Hillary Clinton goes all in for the Lone Star State.
Coming up, we'll take you live to Dallas, where Bill Clinton is stumping for his wife. But first, our Bill is tracking what could be a nasty night.
This is a huge storm system, Sarah, and it's bringing the risk of severe storms overnight. We'll go hour by hour with future radar. Plus,
San Antonio police are winning over the hearts of future recruits with some high-tech displays. I'm Alicia Nieves, and I'll show you the pitch coming up.
But first tonight, outside this San Antonio hotel, it's business as usual, but inside, heavy mold has workers wondering why the hotel has stayed open during that mold removal.
Dylan Collier has our top story from West San Antonio.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Brady.
I'm Sarah Lucero. Next at 6, where's the warning? A danger to pets growing in hundreds of Texas yards.
Nobody's prepared to say goodbye to their dog that they love this much after only a year.
The message one dog owner wishes she would have heard coming up. Plus,
this year made history in the number of registered voters in Bexar County. Are we ready for a historic voter turnout too? I'm Alicia Nieves, and I'll tell you how you can get a free ride to the polls on Election Day coming up.
I've gotta be me.
San Antonio and KENS 5 icon remembered. We'll take a look back at Fred Lozano's legacy coming up. But first.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Lucero.
And I'm Jeff Brady. Next at 6, back to the drawing board for high-speed rail in South Texas.
So I'm not sure what their plans will be, but they have a harder task now.
Coming up, what the new plan is to get public transportation rolling along the I-35 corridor. Plus,
I'm Marianne Martinez reporting from the U.S.-Mexico border. The faithful from San Antonio traveled to El Paso to be part of the Pope's historic visit on the border.
I usually call it erotica. It's late night Cinemax, erotic thriller kind of stuff.
Well, she was going to be the face of the Ted Cruz campaign until her racy work history got in the way. We'll sit down with the actress later in the newscast. But first.